When I first designed Meta, it was pretty simple. All I thought I needed was to be able to highlight some text and then save the image. Okay? Bam. Now that was all well and good, but what I didn't account for were the different image formats. Those being stuff like GIF, PNG, TIFF, bitmap, and how only JPEG and TIFF, as it turns out, are capable of storing metadata. And as you will have gathered, Meta only works if it can embed metadata. Okay? So what I found was, when I was downloading images, say like I download this is a GIF, save image as, I often wouldn't look at this GIF extension, just download it, merrily on my way, la 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 la, and then I come back and find that GIF was actually bold, what I consider to be bold of information. Okay? It was completely useless. In effect, I couldn't trust Meta. I couldn't trust it, and that was a real shame. So what I want to draw your attention to are some new measures, which are preventative measures, and some cures. If you go to Tools, Add, and first of all we're going to start with the prevention, and it's called Format Frown. A lot of this is not going to make any sense. It's all a play on words. The format is the GIF or the TIFF, JPEG, and frown is something where you frown upon that format. Okay, so let's see how that works. Let's go to this. This is a GIF, and you'll notice as I'm hovering over the image, a tooltip pops up with an unhappy face and the format. It's a GIF. This is just to let you know, here's PNG, that the images you're looking at are going to be a problem. Okay, so you can choose to have that on or off. So that's the prevention, and what we're going to do is we're going to enable point and click. Okay, and that is basically where you're over an image. Say I want that text, you just hold down the command key and you save it. Now listen to this noise, because this is important. Okay, so that's going to be completely different now. When you download an erroneous format, you get a submarine sound, and that is an audible sound to let you know that you've downloaded something that isn't quite right. So there's the visual and the audio. So now we're going to go to the thing that will help you the most, and it's called recorded delivery. This again is a play on words of the UK British postal system, where you can track and trace your parcels. So we enable it with SFX, so you still get that sound. And what happens is, now when you download, say, well, we won't do that, we'll do a PNG. Let's say you wanted all this text. There we go, and you wanted these flowers. Okay, now this little icon, which is actually the meta icon, pops up the bottom right. So we click it, and it goes right to the folder where it downloaded the problem images. So here's the image, okay, and here is the text. And what it's done is, via a recorded delivery system, it's actually given you all the information that it would have put in were it a format that accepted metadata, like a JPEG. And this then is actually the same name as the file itself, the image, so they're very close to each other. Okay, and then you can use a third-party application to embed that data if you have access to it. But essentially, this information is not lost. You're now able to faithfully trust Meta to download images and keep all the data. But you can go one step further, and you can enable, within the recorded delivery option, something called fodder folder. Okay, so drawing on from this option, format frown, we've got another play on words called fodder. On the battlefield, all the fodders at the front of the line, they get blown up by cannons, cannon fodder. And what that means is these erroneous formats can all be contained separately from your good stuff. Okay, so we're going to choose a separate location for a folder which will contain all these erroneous formats. We're going to put it on the desktop, and you'll notice it doesn't immediately create a folder. but it will create one just as soon as you start downloading problem formats. So what you do is you go la 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 la, you start downloading all your good formats, all your JPEGs, and what they do is they go here. Okay, these were from the past, we'll forget those, but these are all JPEGs, except that GIF. Okay, so there you go, you can be comfortable that all these images are just fine. Now, there we are, there's now a folder called fodder. Open that up, and it's got its own folder called GIF, because that was the format that was just downloaded. And here, it keeps all the images segregated, and it does the same with PNGs. And you can see this icon, because you might come after a big downloading session and you see this icon and then you know you've actually got images to attend to. And here, PNG, it's got all the data, and then you can marry those two up in a third-party application, but essentially it allows you to trust Meta to download all the images